Welcome to the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine mid-May check-in. I hope you're doing awesome. Thank you so much for checking out the May edition of our online magazine. I hope you're having fun. Flipping through the pages, I hear from people checking out the Canadian Podcaster Magazine that it's a real page turner, literally. And this is the alternative to your typical email newsletter. It's a little bit different, a different approach, and I'm thrilled that you're enjoying it. I'm thrilled that you're checking it out. And I'm hearing even that people are sharing it with others. And that makes me super happy. My name is Dave. I live in Ontario, Canada, near this big hill, lots of water called Niagara Falls. And I love podcasting, and I love Canadian podcasters because we are amazing. I think it's what in basketball, we are the North. Yeah, we're the North, everyone. Strong and free. And I'm glad you're here for this check-in. We're going to talk and do little snippets from all of the great podcasts featured this month in the online magazine. So you have a little taste test of all these great podcasts mentioned. I think we have 4 this month, which is great. And I would love for you to go check them out, subscribe, follow, let them know that you heard about their show here in the podcast and in the Canadian Podcaster Magazine. I'd love for them to know that that's how you found them. That would be great. Lots of stuff going on in our world. Got great stuff coming up later this year at Pod Summit. There's some announcements there we'll jump into and talk about, and some good fun stuff to bring to your attention as well. Thanks for pressing play. Let's jump in. So it's hockey playoff season right now, and I know for our good friends in Toronto, at the time of recording this, it's not great news. And I hope for you, because I think, if we can talk hockey for a second, I think that Toronto fans deserve a win. I know we're talking to people across Canada, and we all have our own opinions about our favorite team and all that. But you got to give it to the Toronto fans. My gosh, do they love their team. Yeah. It's kind of like falling in love with a band that hasn't had a hit in a long time, but you will support them in anything. You buy all their stuff, you do all the things, just waiting for that next hit. And my hope is for all of you Leaf fans out there, no matter where you are, spread across this country, that something good will come your way eventually, possibly. And yeah, so we'll keep you in our hopes and in our dreams and in our best wishes that success finds its way to Toronto at some point. But for the rest of Canada that is still in, at the time of recording, still in and working your way towards the ultimate goal of keeping the cup in Canada, let's keep cheering us on, everyone. We can all agree on one thing. The cup deserves a spot in Canada this year. And that's my big wish for everyone here in Canada, that the cup stays here. So let's keep that in mind, and let's hope for that. Go Canada, fill in the blank for your province and your team. But go Canada, come on. So in the May edition of the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine, we sat down on the How to Podcast series, another show that I do, and talked to the creator of podseo. And in that interview, we kind of went through, and he did a demonstration on my show and showed the tool and how it works. It was actually behind the scenes for everybody. This was his first interview to talk about this, and he did great. It was awesome. We had a great conversation. A great tool for you as a podcaster. Podseo is the name of it. It's actually in the magazine. You can click right through, takes you right to it. And what I love about this is it gives you some rankings for where your podcast is ranking by keywords. And I found out stuff that I had no idea. And it's interesting. I was ranking super high in Apple for the term curiosity ignited. And I don't know when was the last time I've ever used the term curiosity ignited for my podcast, the How to Podcast series. I don't even remember ever using that terminology. So knowing that I was ranking super high for those two words, curiosity ignited, I did an entire episode with that in the title, in the description, in the content. And I use those terminology, those two words, many, many times in a specific episode to fan the flames of a place called Apple to give me even just a little bit more. And from what I can see, it's working. So when you can find out where you rank for keywords on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Amazon, through Audible, it's interesting to kind of get a overview of where you rank. They'll give you some free rankings and free charts and free information with a free plan. You can also then buy in and get way more detail. But for me, if you just want to start and you want to just kind of dip your toe into podcast SEO, search engine optimization, pod SEO, we're not sponsored, but a great tool for you to go check out and get some more information about your show. So if you don't know about these things, that's why the Canadian Podcaster magazine exists. I want to throw new tools at you, resources, podcasting tips, things that can help you to do a better show and to monitor how well you're doing as you continue podcasting. There's more than just stats and analytics. There's actual science.
He blinded me with science.
Yeah, actual science going on behind the scenes when you put your stuff out into the world as podcasters. And you should be tracking it. You should be looking at it. You should be learning from it. You should be growing and reviewing your information. Pod SEO in the magazine and in the notes. A great tool for you to check out for your podcast. Go sign up for free. Take a spin. And if you love it, then sign up and pay for it. Again, not sponsored, but I think it's a great tool for you as you consider growing your show. Pod SEO, everybody, go take a look. So many years ago, my wife and I went to Toronto for our anniversary. It was our 10th anniversary. And at the time, City TV, Much Music, had this speaker's corner. And it was basically a glorified telephone booth with a video camera. You dropped in some change and you were live. You were on camera and you could do the thing and be on TV. They would take this and compile it and put it into little groups and have like romance and comedy and, you know, all these things. And my wife and I went on and we just were giving some marital advice from a couple being together for 10 years, celebrating our anniversary. Thank you. And when we did it, we were just kind of walking by and thought, let's jump in. Mike Myers has been there. The Bare Naked Ladies have been there. Many people have come through and used the exact same booth at different times to promote whatever they're talking about. And so we did. We went in and we did our thing. And we ended up, for some reason, we would keep getting people calling us going, Dave, Jen, you guys are on TV again and again and again. We ended up becoming like one of the moments on this thing on TV that sparked a replay on, I guess people liked it. I guess they did. And so anyways, Speaker's Corner was an amazing way of getting engagement and building a show around engagement. And, well, here's a little clip of my wife and I in the booth from that, so you can hear what we're doing. And, yeah, well, here's us a long time ago. And, man, do I feel old. But here we go.
We're here actually on our 10-year wedding anniversary. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we thought we'd share some advice on how to be married for 10 years. People are asking us how we do it. And here's our advice. Number one, I would say, make sure that you laugh a lot.
Good communication's good. Talking.
Yes.
Yes.
To each other is always good. I would say opening the car door for your wife is also very nice.
Bonus points for that.
Don't watch the other person pee.
No.
That's not good. It's a mystery thing. You just don't want to go there.
Don't go there. No.
What else? Have lots of kids. We have 3.
Yes.
McMillan, Hadley, and Sawyer, and they're all cool.
They're awesome.
So there you go. That's us. That's the audio from the video. And, yeah, pretty interesting. Anyway, so we've bought in. We thought it was great to be able to get on there, share our story, do something fun, but we never knew the impact that would have going forward. Now, why am I saying all this? Because also, I wanted to tell you about SpeakPipe, because I think that you in your show could benefit from you having your listeners reach out to you and be a part of the show. So a great way to do this, SpeakPipe, it's a great service. There's, again, a free version, which allows you to get a few seconds, a few minutes of recording time. I went with the paid version because it was working so well, and it is a great way to engage with your audience. It's a great way to get feedback. It's a great way to bring their voice into your show. If you have the ability to do that in your show and make sense in your content, I just love hearing the voice of a listener. And so often it's a one-way communication for us to our audience, but the moment you hear back from them through SpeakPipe or whatever you're using to collect that, it goes beyond an email. It goes beyond a DM. It's the actual voice of a listener. And oh my gosh, does it ever feel good to hear a listener leave you a voice message. So if you're interested and you want to have like a speaker's corner type thing for your show, try SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com. Another way to engage with your audience and to build that communication that we're lacking as an audio and video medium. It's great when we can actually interact with our audience and hear their awesome voice. And if you want to leave your awesome voice for this show, for the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine, or whatever, I would always love to hear your voice. Please reach out and we'll include you in a future episode of the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine podcast. I'd love to hear from you. So every mid-month, part of what we do here in the mid-month kind of check-in is we feature our amazing podcasters highlighted in the magazine for the month and give you a little taste, just a little nugget for you as you listen. So let's jump in and look at and listen to, again, what goes along with the magazine, a little clip from each of the shows referenced in the magazine for the month of May 2025. Here are some of the podcasts that we think you should go check out. Take a listen. So Tim Truax, the creator, him and his team for Pod Summit, Tim not only has time to work and also do family stuff, he also has time to squeeze in between Star Wars visits and the like. He creates a podcast. It's the Nerd Room. And first of all, I love the intro to the show because I just love, there's a little clip there. It's like a bunch of nerds. It's so, I just love it. It makes me smile. And if you're into DC Universe, you're into Star Wars, you're into collectible toys, if you are relegated to a certain room of your house where you keep all of your collectibles and you're not allowed to put them anywhere else in the house because your partner said no, then you'll love the Nerd Room. You'll love Tim because he's just like sunshine in a bottle. Yeah, I said it. Go check out Tim and the Nerd Room. Go grab a seat, grab your favorite beverage, and join Tim. I think you're going to really enjoy as he breaks down upcoming movie releases and all the stuff going on behind the scenes of your favorite shows and collectibles and all things nerd. All things together in one place. You don't even need to have the glasses with the tape in the middle to be a part of the Nerd Room. It would help. It would definitely be a bonus, but you don't need them. Come join Tim in the Nerd Room. Here's a little snippet for you from Tim and the Nerd Room. Here, featured in the Canadian Podcaster magazine for May, Tim Truex and the Nerd Room. Tim.
You are listening to a Nerd Room podcast production. We, the Nerd. Bunch of nerds.
And my dude, we're here to celebrate Star Wars. Both you and I had separate, but I think equally satisfying experiences over the last 2 weeks inside of the Star Wars world. We are cooking on all cylinders here. We've got Andor Season 2 dropping. You were just at Celebration. I finally made it to Galaxy's Edge last week. It has been a time inside of Star Wars, and we're also getting new content on the horizon, new theatrical releases in 26 and 27. Ahsoka Season 2, Visions is coming back, and I feel so content and happy about where Star Wars is right now. And I am just excited to be here to talk to you about it because I know you had a top-tier experience at Star Wars Celebration. My friend.
So if you've been around podcasting for longer than 5 minutes, you have probably heard the name Mr. Danny Brown. Now, I had the pleasure and honor of meeting Mr. Danny Brown at Pod Summit 2024. And as a listener of the various podcasts that Danny's put out in the world, I was thrilled that I had a few moments to sit down and kind of chat with a gentleman that I really admire in podcasting. Talk about a guy who not only podcasts for his job over at Captivate.fm, great people, by the way, great hosting site. That's where we're hosted for the Canadian Podcaster podcast. So, anyway, Danny works there. Super awesome, man. You'll love this guy. He just working on a new show, and it's very apropos. There's a word, apropos for our little project we're doing here for the Canadian Podcaster magazine. It's a Canadian podcast. Well, would you look at that? It's something that I'm really excited to see Danny developing another new show. And I wanted to share it with you. It is the Great White Pod at greatwhitepod.ca. And it's fun. It's a great new podcast. Super excited, Danny, for all the things you do in podcasting. And this looks like a great opportunity for all of us to join in, support Danny on this new show, be a guest, participate, and listen. That's the biggest thing. Listen. So go to greatwhitepod.ca. Links in the notes. You know how we do things. And go support Danny on a new project. Danny, thank you so much for a new show. Danny, take it away.
Canada is home to some of the most creative, insightful, and entertaining podcasts out there. The Great White Pod shines a spotlight on these shows and the voices behind them. I'm your host, Danny Brown. Join me as I sit down with Canadian podcasters to explore their journey, their craft, and the episodes that mean the most to them. Together, we'll dig into 2 or 3 standout episodes, unpacking why they resonate and what went into making them. Each guest will also share what it means to be a Canadian podcaster in today's landscape. And before they sign off, they'll leave listeners with a recommendation for another must-hear Canadian podcast. Released bi-weekly every Tuesday, you can listen for free at greatwhitepod.ca or follow on your podcast app of choice, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, and more. So if you love discovering great Canadian podcasts and celebrating homegrown talent, pull up a Muskoka chair and let the Great White Pod be your passport to Canada's thriving podcast scene.
So you're a Canadian and you love true crime podcasts. Yes, you can listen to all those American true crime podcasts. You know the ones. But imagine if there was a Canadian true crime podcast. Now imagine if the name of the show was Canadian True Crime. Now imagine if that show existed. Guess what? It does. Canadian True Crime podcast. It's here. It's featured in our May edition of the Canadian Podcaster online magazine. If you love immersive, fact-based, and responsible true crime storytelling, Canadian True Crime is for you. Join Aussie-Canadian host Christy Lee as she carefully unravels some of Canada's most compelling crime cases. A link for you in the magazine, a link for you here in the podcast, and a little taste of what you're going to get from the Canadian True Crime Podcast. Another amazing podcast for you to fall in love with because it's Canadian, it's true crime, it's everything you need in one. Christy, take it away.
Hi, I'm Christy, an Australian who's called Canada home for more than a decade, and I'm also the host and producer of Canadian True Crime. Join me for an immersive deep dive into some of the most thought-provoking and often heartbreaking true crime cases in Canada. Using facts curated from court documents and news archives, I take you through each story from beginning to end, with a look at the way the media covered the crime and the impact it had on the community. You can find Canadian True Crime on Apple Podcasts, your favourite podcast app, or visit canadiantruecrime.ca.
So are you getting old? I'm getting old. I was born in 1969, the last 5 weeks of 1969. But was born in the 60s, y'all. And I'm feeling really old. You know, your back is getting sore. You're tired all the time. Everything hurts. And then you're like, I wish there was a podcast, that kind of talked about getting older, but also getting bolder. And you're like, I'm sure there's something out there. Well, guess what? If you go to the Canadian Podcaster online magazine, you're going to meet Debbie McCullough, and you're going to find out that, yes, in fact, there's a podcast called Older and Bolder. Now, Debbie has been a guest on my How to Podcast series show. She's awesome. She's a wonderful person. We're all getting older. We're all getting a little bolder. And she has a great podcast for you to fall in love with. Please go check out Debbie's show. Debbie, please, can you tell us a little bit about your show? I'd love to hear. Here's Debbie.
Welcome to Older and Bolder, where we showcase individuals who are fearless, fabulous, and 50 plus. Here's your host, Debbie McCullough.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 29 of Older and Bolder. I'm your host, Debbie McCullough. My guest today, Rachel Schneider, has navigated...
One of the other features we have in the online magazine for the month of May is a gentleman that I really look up to. I really enjoy his content. Jefferson Fisher is a lawyer from the U.S., and I know he's not in Canada, but I think there's a lot of things you can learn from Jefferson. And he has a great podcast. He's got a great book. He's been a guest on all the big shows. And what I love is there's so many elements of what he brings forward on a better way to communicate. And as podcasters, all we do is communicate. So you can learn so many lessons from Jefferson, from his podcast, from his website, from who he is. And I wanted to include that here as well. It's like a little bonus to all the great Canadian podcasters we're focused on. I'm going to sneak one U.S. podcaster into the mix because there's so much great value for you as a listener, and also a link in the Canadian Podcaster magazine for May to Jefferson's book is all there for you. I would love for you to do some homework. Spend time listening to the audiobook, buy a paper copy of the book, listen to Jefferson's podcast, And go check him out on TikTok and all the socials. Really interactive, great bite-sized tidbits. And what I love is he started all of this completely organically. He didn't hire a big fancy team. He didn't do all the things that all the gurus say. He just jumped in the front seat of his car, talked to his camera, and now he's just taking off. So if you need a little bit of legal advice on how to communicate better, go check out Jefferson Fisher. Links in the show notes, link in the magazine. And I'd love to hear your feedback on the book and what it's done to help you communicate better as a podcaster. Jefferson, please, would you please speak to and address the jury and tell us more about your show?
My name is Jefferson Fisher. I'm a board-certified Texas trial attorney and owner of Fisher Firm. Now, you may have seen some of my videos out there on social media about how to communicate, but all of those videos are less than a minute. And I've been getting more and more requests to dive deeper into the communication lessons that I teach. So that's what I'm going to do. And what's going to be different about what we're doing here compared to other shows is that they're going to be short, 15, 20-minute episodes. Maybe they'll be longer in the future, maybe not. But right now, I'm just going to meet you where I am. I'm a practicing trial attorney. So I'm going to make these videos after trial, maybe in between hearings, maybe when I'm trying to grab a bite to eat. Whatever it is, I'm going to make sure that what I give you is short, impactful, and practical in your next conversation. And what you're going to find is that over time, you're going to argue better. You're going to communicate more effectively, and you can even change your life. Just one conversation at a time. Welcome to the Jefferson Fisher Podcast.
So there you go. A few little snippets from the magazine. And again, I would love to have your interaction with the next edition of the Canadian online magazine for podcasters. You know, CanadianPodcaster.com. Would love to have you participate and contribute. And if you want to write for the magazine, if you have anything you want to promote, if there's anything that's kind of in your world around Canadian podcasters, that there's a voice that you want to raise up, there's a topic you want to share, I would love to have you contribute to the June edition. I'm taking submissions right now. Reach out to me through CanadianPodcaster.com. And I would love to have you featured in the June edition. If you want your podcast, shout it out and share it in the magazine. Please reach out to me. I'm always looking for great podcasters to shine a light on. And to you, the Canadian podcaster who listens to the show, who has read the magazine and has shared both, thank you so much for doing this and being part of this community. Thank you for sharing your voice. If you need any help with your podcast, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you and point you in the way into the direction of some people who could really help you with your show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the Canadian podcasting community. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you soon. Keep podcasting, keep being Canadian, and keep sharing your voice. Take care. See you in June.